Hi YouTube, back with another BT11 deck profile. Another, I'd say, fun deck. Not a deck you can probably take to regionals and win, but a deck that you can have a whole lot of fun with along the way. That deck is none other than one of my favorite decks of all time. It is Yellow Hybrid. You know, with the surge of Crossheart and Beelzemon in the BT11 meta, Yellow Hybrid gets a little bit better. Back when BT11 Black Order Ray was the best thing in Hades Force and Black Orders were all over the place before the Greymon X limit, this deck had no legs. Ultimate Cup format, this deck had legs, just not enough time for me to test it. But luckily now, it has the ability to do well. I'm going to talk about my deck choices, why this deck was able to achieve my nice 69% win rate in testing, and hopefully you guys can have fun with it while BT11 format is coming to an end. If you guys enjoy this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the notification on the Smash Potatoes. That way you know when all these amazing digital videos go live. I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. See you later. We always start with the eggs, and we're doing 4 Upamons and a Viximon. Upamon, when you attack once per turn, 3 security or less, draw a card. Viximon, when you activate an option card, draw a card once per turn. These are the eggs that I do like to use. I have tried flipping the ratio around. However, I do just enjoy being able to take a swing once in a while and drawing cards for it. Because you do swing maybe sometimes or more often than you can activate an option card per se. You want your options security, you're not guaranteed to get the draw ever, you know what I mean? So like here, 4 Upamon I think is the way forward. And that's all for that. On to the rookies here, we do play 10. We play 4 copies of Pillowmon. I've been very big on the rookie floodgate train lately, because these cards are just saving my bacon in so many ways. Pillowmon here, as the old turns, players can't play Digimon by effects. Now, this is good against Crossheart, against things like Mervamon, Yellow Tamer, and Green Tamer. That's good against Beelzemon because they can't play the Rentmons by effects with like EX2 Beelzemon, for example. So, and other applications here and there too. Pillowmon is just a good floodgate to have. It does technically shut down one little combo we have, but it's fine. That's actually not really a big deal at all. Speaking of that though, we do play the Lotmon package still. We're playing 4 copies of the Recovery +1 Lotmon if you have Shuchong on the field, and 3 security or less if you play a heal. Card is very good. You need it for the recursion and the healing. On that note, we do only play 2 copies of the OG Lotmon. That is the on play. Look at your security. If you take the top card of your security, draw a card. It's a nice draw power sometimes. Sometimes you need to get that secret 3 security spot. But more often than not, I don't end up using it. Honestly, I'll probably just evolve it in the back if I need to draw cards with it. I have occasionally, I played it with Shuchong maybe and drawn a card. Like it's fine, but it's just less useful than I'd say this. Healing is what you really need to do in this deck. Lotmon is nice for some acceleration, but you know, for the most part, isn't super necessary. Now we move on to the champions. We're playing 4 of the Kazemon. It's your generic yellow hybrid for game. We play 4 copies of Zephyrmon. It's your generic yellow hybrid for game. That evolves for 3 on a rookie, which is annoying, but 1 on a champion. And when you evolve, if you have hybrid or Zoe in the traits, security gets plus 3,000 boost for the turn. That's pretty neat. Our last champion is 1 copy of Rapidmon. I'm not a super big fan of Rapidmon in this format, because the decks that go wide don't really get punished by like a small little board wipe like this. Like you delete some Impmons, okay. Delete some, Crossheart stuff, okay, they're just saved. You know what I mean? Like you don't get as much value as you usually do. Sometimes you do got a Rapidmon for a push, but I don't really like it too much. 1 copy is fine, but I wouldn't do more than that. And now on the Ultimates, we do play 3 copies of the original Rise Greymon Yellow. When edge evolving, play a Tamer from your hand. It's negated, and that's okay. You get security +1 as well if you have 3 or more Tamers, and that's pretty cool. It always comes up. Then we have 2 copies of Rise Greymon X Antibody. So it evolves for 4 on a champion or 1 on a Rise Greymon. When you play it, when you evolve it, you play a Tamer. The effect is not negated, so you do get the Tamer's on playability if there is one. And then you do just minus 2,000 to something for each Tamer you have if you evolve on a Rise Greymon. So that's pretty nifty. It is DP-based reduction, removal, which is cool. You need it sometimes. And you get plus 1,000 during your turn for every Tamer you have. So combining this with this is actually pretty powerful. You can attack for security +1, and you probably won't die. And that's pretty neat. And our last ultimate is 1 copy of Jet Sylphimon. It is limited to 1, still, undeservingly, unjustly. I wish this would have 4. Oh my god. But anyway, you evolve for 1 usually, and you recover 1. Card's really good. The last 2 Digimon in this deck are 2 copies of Venusmon. It is our global Holy Flame on evolution, as well as that if your opponent has a security attack modifier during the opponent's turn, their when attackings and when Digivolvings do not activate, and it cannot be attacked by those Digimon. So Venusmon is just there kind of as a pseudo floodgate. It is good against the meta, like if you Venusmon, they're turned off for a turn, but then furthermore continues to shut down things like the starter deck Builsamon, like Shoutmon times 5, Shoutmon times 7. You know, it does harm those decks a little bit. So I do like the 2 copies of Venusmon, they do come up. I would play more, but deck space is very, very tight. Speaking of that, we will now move on to the Tamer cards, the heart and soul of the deck. We play 4 copies of TK. TK is your OG memory tamer. You play it, you take a card from your security. If it's yellow, you recover 1. All our cards are yellow, so that's not a problem. And memory tamers are good. We're still on 4 copies of Tai and Kari. Tai and Kari, the start of turn, gives you memory if you have 3 or less security, and gives you memory if your opponent has 3 or less security. So that's good. And then you can suspend this one during your turn to reduce your opponent's security by 2000 DP, and it enables you to survive hits that maybe you otherwise would not. So it does come in handy. The fact that it's red also comes in handy for one of our cards, and a tech card I'll talk about later as something you can play in the deck if you choose to. Now we have 3 copies of the Shu Chong Wong. When you play it, you play a Lotmon from your hand. You obviously cannot do that if you have Pillowmon on the field, but sometimes you want to play the Tamer with Lotmons in hand just to draw. Because if you have 3 for your security start a turn, you draw a card. Drawing cards in this deck is very good because you could get really cloggy hands sometimes. Mulligan does help this deck greatly, but sometimes you need a little bit more than that. So drawing cards is very good. We play 2 copies of Zoe. Zoe, you know, the more and more I look at this card, the more and more convinced that is not based enough. Zoe does look at your security. If there's a hybrid there, you take it and then you recover 1. We're not playing as many security bombs, so to speak, as maybe I'm used to playing in yellow hybrid. The numbers have gone down over the months, so I think 2 is always actually fine. And odds are in your games you will only have a couple of hybrids in security anyway throughout the course of the game. You really need to pick out the Jet Sylphie. That's the one that's really there for, but sometimes you grab a champion because it's there, and that's fine. It also, by playing less copies of it, you're more inclined to wait on it. Like, you'll try to TK first, and then if you TK, and then you see a hybrid, okay, well then you play the Zoe and you grab it. Scoop it up that way. But besides that, Zoe really isn't useful. The inheritable plus 3000 buff to your own security is nice during the opponent's turn. But, you're playing a lot of Tamers and options, so it doesn't really come up too much. Now, a Tamer that does come up as a lot this format, 2 copies of Tai and Kari. Tai and Kari, if you're losing at the start of your turn, you gain 2 memory. This format is full of, let me promote my guy with the Pikmon inheritable, I'll swing, I'll draw a card. If they hit TK Kari, or you drop a TK Kari on them, maybe like turn 1 or turn 2 or something, they might have less incentive to do that. And if they swing into this, then it's a real feels bad. Yeah, that happens with Cross Art, it happens with freaking Builsamon, they try to crash their Impmons to mill, then they hit this or any other Tamer, and it's just a really big feels bad moment. I like TK Kari a lot this format. I do want to play more, but you run the risk of just having multiple dead Tamers sometimes. So the TK Kari, the 2 of us, fine. Also has a cool ability that during your turn, when you attack, you can suspend it to get minus 1000 or something. So yeah, I can pop Impmons and like Starmons around things here and there. The TK Kari is cool to have. The last Tamer in this deck is 1 copy of TK and Izzy. Start your turn if you have a level higher Digimon, gain memory, and same with your opponent. Then during your turn, if you Digivolve, you can suspend this to give something minus 1000. So a little bit of extra removal. It's really there for the memory, so to speak, because it's not uncommon for you to Rise Greymon on field. And it's not uncommon for your opponent to evolve the Bombmon and sit there, or have a Builsamon on the field, or have a Shoutmon times 5 on the field. Like in this format, that kind of stuff is just pretty regular, I feel like. So having the extra memory from this is really, really, really cool. Now we go to options, and I am on 3 copies of Leonki Adistacto. I love this card. As we move on in life, I'm starting to love this card more and more. It is 8 cost removal. Yeah, it feels bad. If you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 from the turn. If you have 3 or less, you take an opponent's Digimon, and stick it face down in their security stack. So if you activate this at 3 security, it's perfect. It's 2 big removal cards. Really good against Builsamon. Kind of good against Cross Art, and just generically good against everything else. I don't know if I want to play 2 or 3. I haven't been tempted to try 4 yet, but it is kind of okay. Next up, we have 2 copies of Holy Flame. I still love Holy Flame ever since I won regionals with it, 4 copies of it. It's nice to have it in there because, you know, Cross Heart might try to OTK you, Beelzebub might try to OTK you, and, you know, having this as security is just very powerful. Stops their turn, the next turn you usually win. That's really, really good. You can also activate it to give your opponent -3 security. That's good against Beelzemon, so they can't, like, blast mode combo you. Or, it's good against X5 or X7, so they can't, like, poke at you aggressively like that. So I really like Holy Flame a lot. I am tempted to try 4. I just haven't got there yet. Then we play 1 copy of Sunrise Buster, because it's at 1. We play 1 copy of Reinforcement Booster, because it's at 1. Now, the deck is at 50 cards, but something that I have been hemming and hawing about, because we do play the tie and the Kari, right? I have been trying 2 copies of Crimson Blaze by swapping out other cards. Yeah, it's cool, but I think Pillowmon does the job better, in my opinion. Because the widespread removal, again, I'm not playing Rapidmon for a reason, right? I don't like Crimson Blaze in this deck. However, if you need the extra, you know, stoppage of play effects besides the Pillowmons, maybe you try the 2 copies of Crimson Blaze, see if you like it. But sometimes you draw it, you don't have Tie and Kari, it just feels awful. It's a mess. It's really a mess, so I would not bother with it, honestly, but you're more than welcome to try it. I have been. I've seen moderate to low success with it in testing. But that'll do it for this deck profile. It's Jet Sylphimon. It's not Jet Sylphimon. It's Yellow Hybrid. The Pillowmons, I believe, make this deck very powerful. The Lotmon engine give you recursion so that you're not dying. The Shuchongs give you the draw power. And then having Rise Grace for the Tamer playing for free, and then Venusmon here for floodgating is very powerful. I do recommend giving this deck a try. Again, I wouldn't think you can top up regionals with it this format, but you can definitely play it and have fun for sure. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you later. Bye!